Alright, konbanwa. Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me. This is Mike here with Ninja Sub Gaming, and we are busting out another round of Forza 4. A very, very fun game, I may add. It's currently my favorite racing game. Not my favorite of all time, but the one I'm currently playing the most of. So I hope everybody has had a wonderful day. Again, thank you for joining me.
A lot of them are up there, actually. Oh my god.
Yeah, I just wrapped up training not that long ago. I did some cardio, running at different speeds outside. Then I did some plyometrics outdoors, actually 2 rounds of plyometrics outdoors. Then I did a round of yoga. And actually I did a round of yoga before the running. So I did a round of yoga, running at different speeds, plyometrics outdoors, some more running, some more plyometrics, then another round of yoga. Then I went to my shift at the arcade, and then I came back home, and then I went into the weight room. So, had a really good set of sessions today. Definitely cannot complain about how training went today. I was able to do everything I wanted to do with no hassle, and I got the results I wanted. I got all the lifts up that I was hoping to get. So. Oh, I love that Aurora Borealis there on that scene. Alright, so I'm going to see where I need to go. That I set the mark right. So here I am.
He was all jacked up. Yeah. He was all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Okay, so it's displaying a whole bunch of new stuff.
Oh no, I was gonna make that.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll replace this with useless logs.
Good. So apparently when I went and I bought that mansion, it unlocked a whole bunch of new things here for the game, which is what I was really aiming to do. I wanted to access new stuff. So as you can see, for this broadcast, I am putting myself on video. sometimes, a lot of the time, I do not do that because I just like to, I don't know. It's just my personality and my training in ninjutsu. I like to not be seen. I know that may sound weird, but a lot of the time I just like to blend in with the shadows. So a lot of the time I do not put myself on video. But tonight I wanted to, I felt up to it. So here I am, you know, good to see everybody in the literal sense. I apologize to anybody if you're a little off-put by the lighting in my room, but I like dim light. I like dark light. It's just a preference. Something that I do when I am playing Forza and I'm going from point A to point B, I actually practice some of my racing techniques during my trips to a certain area. It's a good way to keep yourself kind of up to date as you're doing this.
Like ball sucker, I think that's what you're
Alright, so it looks like we are good to go.
Line coming in. Just a second. Oh, they got a ball slinger.
Here we go. Oh, this is a wet track. I have not raced on a track like this before. And as realistic as Forza is, I'm going to guarantee you that it's going to make a difference as to how the car is going to handle. Forza can be frustratingly realistic. So I don't know how I'm going to do on this one. If this was just a standard dry track like I'm used to being on, I'd say my odds would be pretty good. But a wet track, wow. This is a new one for me. Here we go. Now we're on pavement. That's going to be different, as you can see. That makes a difference. Now we're back on the dirt. Yeah. Or I should say the mud. See, I'm not doing bad per se because I'm gaining up on the leaders here. It's just, I'm getting used to this track. It's just, wow. And I think I'm doing it. I think I am. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. But it looks like I'm doing it. At least that's my aim here, and it looks like I am. Okay, don't want to get too comfortable here, but...
There he is, there he is.
Ah!
He went, yeah, kind of hit the door right there.
Hmm.
Oh, he's right here. He's low, he's one. Nice.
Yes. There we go. I did that curve, that corner there pretty good. Now I'm overtaking some peeps. Nice. I'm using that car there to keep me from sliding off the road. It could be argued that's dirty racing, but they would do the same thing to me in a hot second if they could. And I know that, so... So I'm in second right now. Good deal.
It wasn't.
Mind you, this is on intermediate difficulty. I'm not doing it on, you know, new or inexperienced or any of that. I'm on the average difficulty, which I had not done until earlier today. Here we go, here we go. I think those mods I did on my car for the handling are actually working really well. I definitely recover better from slipping than I used to. My goodness, it used to be I'd slip a little bit and man, I'd be up into a wall. But that has apparently changed. Okay, so I got second. That's really good. So I definitely can't complain about that.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Ryan.
Maybe there's that bomb you're asking about.
Guy doing push-ups, that's what I was doing earlier. Good deal.
Oh, nice. You got that gun. Oh, shoot, you got in your trap. Those staples.
Jay's on the hunt for our next
Disguise.
and Alex said he's ready to kick off round 2 of dirt racing, but he's really excited to get going on the cross-country series. Well, what are you waiting for?
Oh, yeah. Car? Yeah, if you have maybe not closed.
Alright. So we got some new stuff here available. What is this? Oh, this looks like the Demolition Derby. The Eliminator? That definitely looks like a Demolition Derby kind of thing.
Nice.
Fast travel board? Okay, I don't know what that is. Oh!
Hey, Mike. Just letting you know.
I love how it says my name. I can't get over how cool that is. That is one thing I love about new age game systems. The thing I don't like about newer game systems, like the 8th generation systems, and around that time, is that if you don't play a game for a while, you have to spend a lot of time downloading updates and things like that. You can't just simply put the game in, maybe do a brief update that takes a couple of minutes, and then go on about your business, like you could with Xbox 360 or below. So that's the catch-22 with the newer game systems. But the thing I like about them, the newer game systems, is that they can do things like that. They can say your name. Like, you can actually put in text, and it can recognize the text and talk using the text that you input, your name or whatever, different phrases you want a certain character to say. That is so darn cool. Alright. Hello, everybody. Alright.
You can use your skill point here to unlock car masteries. Every car has its own set, offering unique perks and bonuses. But skill points can be spent on any car you own.
Alright. Okay, what is this? Okay, I'm a huge Lego fan. I play with Legos, I collect Legos, I play the Lego games, I have Lego Jurassic World, Lego Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. I have the Ninjago Samurai X. I have piles of Legos, so many to name, that I couldn't name them all without being here for another hour. I have, let's see, Lego Worlds on my Switch. Yeah, I'm a huge Lego person, so this right here is cool. Lego Speed Champions, okay.
I don't like that I pretty much purchased everything that's included in there. I paid $40 for 2 but I know I want to play it, and I know I'm going to be all, if I don't get all the things, I will eventually be very upset that I don't have all the things, you know?
Alright. So let's figure out where we're gonna go.
I can't play it.
So I did this one.
Yeah, like I have everything from the only thing I have to purchase besides the stuff that they get was the paint stand.
Okay, I've done that.
It's really awesome because like I'm using the teleporter and stuff too, and it just didn't work. I was working on it.
I'm jumping out, boy.
He was jumping on me.
Oh, so Lego Speed Champions is not a game, it's a level in Forza 4? Okay. Alright, well... Okay, I knew about Fortune Island. That one I was aware of, yes. Oh man, I don't know.
Oh my.
I want to do this one. I want to do the cross-country run. The city outskirts cross-country. So I'm going to set the waypoint for there.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
To be honest, when I adjusted the difficulty level and made the game harder, I didn't really find the cars I'm racing against to be harder. The only thing that really is the obstacle for me in this game, and this is not me gloating, I'm just telling you how I honestly feel, I don't feel the cars got harder to race against. It's just the environment and not hitting walls. And cranking up the difficulty doesn't change that. It's just how you maneuver your car, how your car is working, how it's upgraded or not upgraded, and what kind of a track you're on, how familiar you are with it. That seems to be more the difficult thing for me, is just dealing with the environment and stopping myself from hitting things, namely the sides of the track, because that will mess you up. You'll slow down and then you get overtaken. And then when you have a higher difficulty level, it's a little harder to overtake the cars once they're past you. So, jeez. Yeah, doing stuff like that right there. That's why I practice as I'm going towards a race. Like, I practice when I'm going from, waypoint A to B. So I don't do things like that while I'm racing. Guys, give me a minute. Alright everybody, sorry about that. I had a phone call. Had to step out for a second. Alright, Dante, hey man, thank you so much for joining me. Alright. Alright. Hey Dante, not bad, man. I shot you a text. So, Dante, have you ever played Forza? Is this a game you're familiar with? You ever busted it out before? Well, I'll tell you what, man. Whether you're the best with racing games or not, this game is very fun, and it's realistic, but not to the point to where it's hair-pulling. So, it's got a lot of realism to it, but it's not too realistic. I've seen games like that. You want to think that realism is a good thing, but you can't overdo it. When it's taken every frustrating part of a real-life activity and putting it into a game, and putting too much of it into a game, that's when it takes the fun away from it. So, that's actually the thing that turns me away from SnowRunner. I don't know if you've ever played that one. I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm just saying that it's too real, like, to the point to where it's just aggravating to play it. So, wait. I'm wanting to say I actually passed right by the... Oh, jeez. So... what's the deal here? Oh, I passed it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, SnowRunner is fun for some people. A good example is my nephew. He likes it because he likes games that emulate real life, like right down to the letter. You know, but for me, that game is extremely frustrating. I don't like it. And, you know, nothing against anybody who's into it. I'm just saying I don't like it because it's too real to the point where it's just frustrating. But Forza is not like that. Forza is realistic, but not too much. It's just got a perfect balance. Like, and the cool thing is, too, is that, at least for me, when I'm watching it, there are actual real cars that you see every day when you're driving around that are featured in this game, prominently featured in this game, such as what I'm playing with here. I'm playing, I believe that's a Ford Focus. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Ford Focus. See those on the road all the time. Alright, man. Hey, yeah. Whatever works. Oh, Dante, an interesting fact. The graphics capabilities of the Xbox Series X is actually greater than the graphics capabilities of the PlayStation 5. A lot of people don't know that, so I thought I would share that one with you. A Land Rover Volkswagen Baja Bug. That's cute. I like that. With a big old muscle truck here. So, Wait, look at something real quick here. Okay, so I wasn't entirely clear on who makes the Land Rover. Actually, it's the same people who make the British Jag. So, that's cool. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with the Range Rover. For as far as I know, X and S both have the same graphics capabilities, but they are better than that of the PS5. Not significantly better, I mean, as you can see, but yeah, they are slightly above. That's something most people aren't aware of. Thank you. Nintendo 64, yes. Alright, so that's for people that don't have volume. I just wrote that down.
You know what? I just realized, Rick, you kind of look like Caillou from the Olympic world. You look like the
Really? No, I did not know that. But did you know, Dante, that Cartoon Network made a game that is quite similar to Smash Brothers called Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion? So I gotta learn how to drive a new car here. Wow. It is on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, if I'm not mistaken. I know for a fact it's on the Xbox 360 because that's what I have it on. But I am pretty sure it is also on PlayStation 3. There we go. Actually, it appears to handle pretty good. I don't want to judge too quickly here. I mean, I just literally began the race. But yeah, so far so good. I like it. This is a little different than what I'm used to because this is a cross-country race. Oh, I just missed a checkpoint. I think that's going to be a problem on these. That is going to be an issue on a cross-country race. I can see that. I don't like my chances much now, honestly. Every other time that's happened to me, I've ended up losing the race. So... It's called Cartoon Network Punch Time Explosion. I'll write it down in the chat room here in a minute, or I'll text it to you, better yet. Okay, a couple of channels I want to clue people in on. Katie Sue 1084. Again, that's Katie Sue, KATIESUE 1084. Sorry, 1084. Excuse me. So Katie Sue 1084 and Chica Horror. CHICAHORROR. Chica Horror. Awesome channels. I recommend them to anybody. And also hit my boy Dante with a follow. He is right there. Dr. Mink with 2 Ks. Dr. Mink with 2 Ks. Alright, so, you know, obviously I'm going to have to do this race again. I think the results would have been a lot different if I had, you know, not missed that checkpoint.
And then he got on radio and said, I got one.
Alright. Okay, Dante, I just texted it to you. Okay, so I've always told people that if you do poorly in a race or you lose or whatever, stick with the race. Just get last place or whatever have you. Reason why is because you still get money and things like that.
Best rest of the day and a break and go home. This is the street scene. I mean, is that cool with everyone?
So... definitely doing this one again. Alright, a Ferrari, now we're talking. Jeep, okay. Dave would like that, my nephew. That's a snazzy looking little Ford. Ford GT, of course. I'm a huge Toyota fanatic, so that's awesome. Subaru. Porsche, yeah, Porsches are good. Alright. Lamborghini, wow, now we're getting into the big old expensive cars. I will make a note to get a Lamborghini when I have about $150,000 laying around. So, everybody look out. One of these days, I'm going to have that Lamborghini. Just messing. But they are a cool car. They're a very awesome Italian car. Okay, so... I'm curious. Alright. Oh, you have to... It's a purchase. And you have to... Yeah. Alright, I'm not gonna buy it right now. I'm glad they brought it to my attention, though. At some point, I'll get it. I don't really think I need any of those type of vehicles right at the moment. I was actually doing pretty good with my Range Rover until I missed that stupid checkpoint. It seems like in this game, when you miss a checkpoint, that is the kiss of death. I would think if I was a bit better at this game, it wouldn't always be a death sentence. But, you know, I'm not a bad player, but I'm not an excellent one. So at my current skill level, you know, I miss a checkpoint, it's going to be pretty much game over, no pun intended. Okay, what are my perks? What are my perks? What have I got?
Great news! I've found a driver for our first showcase event. A rookie, no less. Unproven but highly skilled. Huge potential. I think they're going to make this one to remember. So, are you doing anything right now?
Actually, I am. So, I'm sorry, I will have to politely decline for now. I will hit you up soon. Alright, here we go. Whoa.
You've just challenged a driver to a head-to-head.
Oh, really? I did? Okay, wasn't aware of all that.
If you want to be a Horizon Street Racer, you have to be ready to throw down head-to-head anywhere.
Did I lose my waypoint? I did. Okay, so I'm going to just pull over.
Hey, we're kicking off the brand new Horizon Super Set. Yeah.
That adult male Caillou over there?
One thing I can tell you, Dante, about racing games, if I were to give a point of advice about how to play them, it's not so much about top speed, and it's not even so much about acceleration, it's your handling. It's staying away from hitting things. When you practice that, and you master it, then you got it. You'll be a very formidable racer. It's all about your handling. I mean, acceleration and top speed are nice. Don't get me wrong, those things are important. They do make some difference, but the number one thing is going to be how you handle the vehicle. I guess it's really no different than real life driving, you know? Does it really matter how fast your car can go? Not really. Does it really matter, you know, how fast it accelerates? Not particularly. What makes you a good and effective driver is how you handle the vehicle. And granted, day-to-day driving is not the same as racing, but I'm just saying the concept between real-life driving and racing games are very similar, strangely enough. Even though one is real and one is fake, and, you know, even though one is a race and the other is not, strangely enough, they hold those similarities, so... Excuse me. Oh wow, we're going to be doing this street race at night. Well, look at that. I love NASCAR, or I like NASCAR, but I love F1. F1 is my favorite type of racing. F1 for me is better than NASCAR, street racing, drag racing, drift racing, any of it. I am an absolute F1 mark, 110%. I actually have an F1 racing game. I haven't busted it out yet on stream, and I haven't played it actually in quite a while. Dang it. Here we go. But, yeah, I'm very much into F1.
appreciate you, fella. You stay safe out there, right? Well, there's probably, you probably want to be doing, man. You probably want to put on a little bit of speed, you know, you could have just waited until later. Oh, look at that, you are driving. Oh, okay, yes, All right, I'll meet you.
All right.
No, I wish I could.
Oh, wow. Well, dig that. That's incredible. I'm jealous. Alright, so I'm going to be doing this cross-country race at night. So let's add that little perk into it. I'm really hoping that doesn't affect my ability to stay within the checkpoint flags. I'm thinking it will. Unfortunately. With this game, that is my kryptonite, without a doubt, is simply staying within the damn checkpoint flags. Wait, it's gonna be in daytime. Okay. Now guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was nighttime when I began this event. Huh. Well, while in terms of my racing, it's going to be a help, still, it's inconsistent with the realism of the game. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Whoa. That reminds me of that Danger Zone bonus round that I did in the last Forza stream from earlier today. I had to do a mission where I had to do a dangerous jump, and the more dangerous the jump, the more points I earned. I didn't even know Forza had that kind of thing. I thought Forza was just a straightforward racing game. I didn't know it had little side missions where you could earn money and points, etc. from performing stunts. No racing, just a straightforward stunt. And the more dangerous, the more you earn. It's crazy. It's cool though. I do like the idea that Forza has such variety to it. Am I in second? I am. Nice. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whew, almost did it again. Dang, boy, that would have sucked. Almost ran outside of the stupid, checkpoint flags. Wow, that would have been the end of me. I would have definitely lost the race at that point. So I'm probably going to get second or third here, judging by how things are going. That's awesome. I'll definitely take it. Whoa, 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 don't miss, don't miss. Ah! Crap. Got overtaken there. Okay, so I got fifth. Definitely not bad. Oh, hey, Katie, thank you so very much for joining me on my stream. Everybody, the girl that I was telling you about earlier, Katie Sue 1084, this is her. So please say hi to her and make sure you check out her channel and hit her with a follow and a subscription. She plays a lot of Fortnite, so if you are a Fortnite fan, if you enjoy Fortnite, this is the person that you want to be watching, Katie Sue 1084. She is very good at Fortnite, better than I am, and she is quite a looker to boot, so you definitely want to check her out. And she seems like a really cool girl to round it off. Alright, so I got 5th place there. Meh. I'm kind of like, man, you know, and 5th place isn't bad, but I like to place top 3 if possible. I think I could have done better. So, but I don't know if I'm going to go back and do it again right this minute. Oh, and guys, earlier today I saw that movie. It's called Orphan First Kill. If you're into horror movies or thriller movies, like psychological thrillers, you definitely want to see it. It's called Orphan First Kill. It is actually the prequel to the 2009 horror thriller Orphan. So if you watch Orphan First Kill, then you watch Orphan, you'll get to see in chronological order how the movies play out. And here's another cool thing, they are talking about doing a sequel. So before long, it's going to turn into a movie trilogy. Chances are it will become a trilogy. So.
Alright, well, you alright? Why are you in the hospital? What are you doing here? Water, your mustache doesn't match the rest of your head. Fix it. The darker mustache. I think Jeff is the most common first name. It's not just the department. The entire police force, Jeff. There's like Jeff Bundy. Jeff from Shelley, United States Compression Shelley. There's a lot of Jeff. What is he saying now? What channel?
Alright. So where am I at now and what am I doing? Beachview cross country. So I went just from one cross country to another. No, where was I at? I was here. Okay. And now, oh wait, I'm up here. And okay, so that one takes me. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this one. Alright. What I'm thinking I'll do is I think I'm going to do this next cross country. I'm going to go down to that beach cross country, and then I'm going to go back around to the cross country that I just now did, that I got 5th place in. So I'm going to just kind of loop around. I'm going to do cross countries and loop around back to where I started and do the one that I just did again to see if I can do better than 5th place. And I'm thinking that the 2 cross countries I'm about to do can give me lots of practice. Hold on a second, Katie, don't you play Fortnite? I could have swore I saw you on Fortnite. I know that you play Overwatch. And that's what you were just playing right now, just a little while ago. But don't you do Fortnite, or am I mistaken? Oh, hey, whoa, 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 what's up with that? That's why they call you gangster, huh?
On your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. I just working on getting it on a bunch of other things and stuff. Apparently to put up a weekly podcast on stuff, you need a lot. There's a lot that goes into making it.
Okay, so it may not have been you that was playing Fortnite. I just saw somebody. It was a girl playing Fortnite using the Dragon Ball Z characters package. That wasn't you? Okay, guys, so unless Katie steps in here and corrects me, she plays a lot of Overwatch, yes. And I think she plays Fortnite a lot as well, but I could be wrong. So let's just see what she says. Either way, you definitely want to check out her channel. I watch her streams a lot of the time, and they're very fun. she makes them very fun. And she wears the cutest outfit. She does the really cool cosplaying to go along with her streams. Like, I'll never forget the one that you did, Katie, where you were playing Stray and you wore the kitty outfit. That was really cute. I like that. Okay, guys, before I begin this, I'm going to take a... Hey, whoa, boss. Okay, you want to play that game, do you? Alright, where you at? Where you going, man? Don't you want to have some fun? Huh? Yeah, better run. Standing there challenging a ninja like that. Okay, anyway, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull over here since, you know, everybody seems to want to run into me. And I need to take a potty break. I will be right back. I appreciate y'all's patience. Alright guys, thank you for your patience. I am back and I'm ready to do this race.
I'm a fire rate. You hurt. After everything I've done for you. This is my baby's mom. I literally have you saved in my phone as baby's mom. Yeah. Okay.
Alright, check it out. My girl there is wearing an Xbox shirt. I am also wearing an Xbox shirt. There you go. I am literally in the game. I feel the Forza, which is Italian for power. You have lost several races in a row. Would you like to lower your driver difficulty to inexperienced? No. And I'm sorry, but 5th place isn't that bad. 2nd place is definitely not that bad. Come on, really. Alright, here we go. And it's raining. That's going to make this a little different. I'm wondering if we get to stay on the pavement. Wow, I spoke too soon. Here we go. That would be really cool if I got to do a cross-country race where I got to stay on pavement. But then again, it would be harder to overtake cars because they're less likely to make mistakes and run into things and stuff. You know, so this is where it gets down to the technique thing, like I was explaining to Dante earlier about, you know, being able to handle your vehicle well. That's the key to a racing game, is your handling. Not your top speed, not your acceleration, but it's more based on handling. And, you know, games are different with that. So, for example, the way I have to handle my vehicle in Forza 4 is very different than the way I have to handle it in Daytona USA for the Sega Saturn. The handling is very different. You know, Sega Rally definitely has different handling than Forza 4. You know, my Formula 1 game is different than my NASCAR game. So they all feel a little different. They all have their specific quirks. You just have to play the game and feel it out and see what to do. Okay, so here I'm not doing too bad. I'm actually in 3rd, 2nd. Fourth? Okay, still not doing bad. Back into 2nd again. Good deal. Cool. I might even get 1st. Wow. I don't know how long I'll be able to hold it, but I am technically in 1st. So... Oh, whoa, what? Oh my god, I cannot believe I just did that. Totally lost my path. Oh my god. Don't ask me how I just did that. I can't even answer. I don't know. I have no clue how that just happened. Jesus Christ. Well, at this point, I'll be glad with anything I get if it's over 6th place. Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened.
Look at mine, Just look at mine. Look at it. It's over there.
So Dante, I know you're not much for racing games, but what about you, Katie? Do you ever mess with racing games at all, or just curious? A BMW, okay. Cool car, very classy. They look nice, but man, when it comes to fixing one, get ready to shell out some cash. That's why they are known as a rich person's car.
I actually really like her. She's very helpful today. Well, I'm not. She's really nice. She signed into her peasant job as a dispatch to help out Anna here.
I'm scouring the satellite maps for bars to run the festival, and I found one.
Yeah, just that. Hey, where'd that mine go?
I'm gonna go to this beach cross-country race. Okay, yeah, my apologies, Katie. Yeah, so guys, a correction here. If you like Overwatch, Katie is definitely the person to check out. Also, if you like Stray, the game that I was playing the other day on the stream, check out Katie as well. And she wears some really snazzy outfits when she streams. I don't know if you heard me, Katie, but I was telling people about how much I liked your kitty outfit when you were streaming Stray the other day on Twitch here. I'm trying to figure out who it is that plays Fortnite all the time and who has the Dragon Ball Z characters. I am wanting to say that's Chica Horror. I'll have to check.
Is this too weird that I just asked on mine with Holland? Yeah, that's pretty dumb. That's actually really dumb now that I think about it. What's Laura? Is the other car? Fine lady, it's Mooster. I know you can't say anything back, but go in there, go into autos and have them charge a lockpick to 4263. CID 4263. Write it down, 4263. I'll pay for a lockpick for them. I thought you owned before, but
1 second, please.
and it disappeared. And then, we're dealing with the thing now. So. Alright, I love you too. Alright, bye. 4263. Alright. Do I hear any calls? Where's the comm? Oh, I don't hear anything. What channel? I don't know. Go back quick. I'm going to stay on Suarez's car. Some lights out.
Alright. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's do this. Oh. So I have to, or I don't have to? No, I do. Okay, so this is literally a beach Race. Okay, I got you. Wow, I have never raced on the sand in this game. You know, guys, you saw that with my last cross country. I was in first place. Maybe not convincingly in first place, but I was in first place, and I was maintaining it pretty well until I ran into that wall. I don't know what the heck happened. I'm sorry. I could have swore that was the way I was supposed to go, and by the time I figured out it wasn't, it was just too late. Alright. So how much do I have to spend? I've got, yeah, about 232,000. What do we got? 100,000. Boom. Boom.
This is so nice. Holy shit. I'm putting some gangster looking tires on my car. Is there like a history behind white walls? Like the white makes the tire like absorb heat differently or something like that, so they don't pop?
Seriously? Man, now come on. If that is not cheesy. If I have enough money to buy the vehicle in-game, then I shouldn't be getting charged in real life. Now, come on, man. No, thank you. Jeez. I really like Zelda, so I went with the Hylian shield design. Yeah, let's do this. Yes. First love. Cool, cool. Again, guys, thank you for everybody who's watching me. Thank you especially to Katie and Dante for speaking up in the chat. I love it when people come on here and jam with me. Alright, so let's see how this goes. The handling is definitely different. So the traction is not as good, which makes sense because it's a lighter vehicle. But the steering is better, which again makes sense that it's got better maneuverability because it's a lighter vehicle. So pros and cons. You just got to be on the ball. Can be, you know, running into walls and losing track of where I'm supposed to be going. My God, I still can't believe I did that in that last race, man. I was doing really good too. Here we go. Wish I had just been able to use my other vehicle, my Range Rover. Jeez. For real. Alright. Yeah, definitely not my most stellar race there, but it was fun. I earned some money. Alright, and I got promoted. Yeah, Dante, that would be great. What do you have in mind? Anything particular, or...?
Myself this season by the best cross-country driver at Horizon. Make it all the way, lead the competition, and you'll be crowned the winner. So there's the country. Off you go and cross.
Alright. So I am where I'm here. I want to go back here. And I want to switch my vehicle back. Definitely want to switch my vehicle. So this is my current garage. I have a Nomad. I have a S-Drive 35 IS, Focus, Trailcat, Range Rover, and a Ford Escort. So I'm gonna go over to my Range Rover. I like my Range Rover. Honestly, Dante, it doesn't matter to me. Well, I love that Aurora Borealis. That is awesome. Alright, so here we go, here we go.
Do you ever accept a charge for buying a locket? Oh, I know it works.
Eh.
Oh my god. Is he just fucking clapped the guy on the roof?
Alright. Got some landscaping type of points there. I'm going right after you. I'm going in.
400 meters, turn right. Turn right.
Alright, so I'm going to revisit this one. Let's see what I can do. Okay, so why is it suddenly that they are trying to force these different cars on me when I have a car that I want to use for the race already? I want to use my Range Rover. Why is it not letting me do that?
Get out of here, both fun brick.
When I see Warthog, I think of Halo. I mean, do I get this for free, or do I have to pay for it, or... I mean, it's a nice vehicle. You know what? My nephew Dave would freaking love this vehicle. It's his favorite color, one of his favorite models. There you go. Alright, let's see how it works. The only thing I'm concerned about is how it's going to feel when I'm racing with it. Is it going to be anything like what I'm used to? I just wish this game would quit trying to force all these different cars on me. I think it's nice they're giving me these cars, but I don't know. I had my heart set on racing in my Range Rover because I've had pretty good luck with it. I try not to mess with a good thing. It's a principle in Buddhism and in ninjutsu that if something's working well, don't tamper with it. It's also a principle of common sense. I mean, improvements are great when they're needed, but not when they are not called for, you know? I wish they would offer you new vehicles, but under a little bit of a different circumstance, you know. Not make you take it, like they did with me just now, but offer it to you at some point. Offer it to you. Or let you take it, but not have to use it right away. That would be the best, I think. If they were to say, hey, you know, here's a prize, you don't have to use it right now, but if you want to, here it is. Woo! Yeah, you know what? I am gaining right up on the leaders here. If I could just get a little bit further ahead. There we go. Now I'm really tailing them. The only time when tailgating is a good thing, when you're playing a racing game. This is gonna be close. Woo! All right. Yes. Boom. Definitely a big improvement over my last showings, namely that I didn't run dab smack into a wall when I thought I was following the track properly. So there it is. Yes. Good deal. Very happy with that one. Let's see what I got. Good deal. All right. Let me take a look at something here. Alright. Good, just wanted to check something out there on my stream real quick. Alright. Okay, I will be right back. Alright everybody, I appreciate your patience. Thank you so much. Had to run to the pot. And, of course, I had to grab coffee in my Mario Brothers coffee mug. I mean, what... Playing a game is never complete unless you have a cool video game mug to go with it. Again, for anybody watching me, if you're wondering why I sit in dim light, I like dim light. I'm not a fan of bright light at all. It's just me. I think it also goes with my training in ninjutsu, because a lot of the exercises I do at night. So, a lot of the stealth and a lot of the jitsus that I do work much better at night. So, it's kind of built into me to just like dim light. So, please bear with me on that. Anyway. So, I just got first place on that last cross country. This one here, right? No. Where was I at? Here. Yes. I haven't done this one yet. Have I done this one? No, I have not. I've done this one. I've done City Outskirts, Author's Seat Cross Country. Of course, I did the Beachview cross country. And then I hooked around here and did the Riverbank cross country again, and just got first place in that too. I'm very happy with that. Windmill cross country. Okay, so from what I understand about Forza, guys, is that this game actually emulates real life landmarks, like real life landscapes. So that is really cool. I really like that. I like games that have some connection to real life. I'm that way with movies as well. My favorite kind of fictional movie, I like fiction and I like non-fiction. But my favorite type of fictional movie is a fictional movie that somehow ties into stuff that actually happened. I'll give you an excellent example of that. A good example of that would be X-Men First Class. Made in 2011, starring James McAvoy, Kevin Bacon, Michael Fassbender. So, I'm not going to give too much away for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I will tell you this much. The movie, while of course it's X-Men, so it's going to be fiction, right? But it actually is centered on events that actually happened during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Which for me, that is really cool. I was a social studies major at university. I'm a certified social studies teacher. And I have always had a thing for history, historical events, you know, the who, when, why, where, that kind of thing. And for me to be a social studies teacher and to see a work of fiction centered around real events is so darn cool. And a video game that would fit the bill for that kind of thing too, is, believe it or not, a game that is very similar to Resident Evil / Biohazard, and that is the Onimusha games. If anybody has not played Onimusha, do so. It is available for download on all major newer consoles. It's originally a PlayStation 2 title. It is awesome. It is a game that plays very similar to Resident Evil in many ways, with less emphasis on firearms combat and more emphasis on hand-to-hand melee combat with weapons, because it takes place in feudal Japan. So, of course, more emphasis on sword fighting and things of that nature. But anyway, to the point, this game, while fictional, is actually centered around real-life events that took place during feudal Japan. It even features real people who were around during feudal Japan, arguably the most notable person being Oda Nobunaga. So he was a real-life Japanese warlord, and actually one of the first people to ever work with the legendary Kunoichi female ninja, Chiyomi. So, a little bit of history there with Oda Nobunaga. He was a real, staple mark in feudal Japan. He is featured prominently in the Onimusha games. So yeah, fiction centered on something that actually happened. I completely love it. Anyway, and you know, it's a good thing too also for people who don't like fiction. If you're a person who just doesn't get into fiction, and there are some people like that, if you're going to get into fiction, the best kind of fiction to get into would be fiction centered on something that really happened. So it's not entirely fictitious. You know, part of it's not real, part of it is. So, you know, I'm going to say for non-fiction fiction, it's the best thing for a person who... I think it's the best way for a person to venture into the world of fiction who doesn't really like it, if that makes sense. Because you're not getting an entire dose of something that isn't entirely true. I hope that wasn't too much rambling and that everybody managed to catch all that. It's pretty deep. But anyway, where am I at? What am I doing? I've done this. I want to check out this one. I have not done this one yet. Okay, so I'm going to set a waypoint. And I'm going to go check it out. So I still haven't had any luck with getting my Dragon Ball Xenoverse copy to work. Granted, I haven't tried anything different yet with the game versus my last attempts. If anybody's not familiar, it's a game that I have on the Xbox 360. I tried to play it on my Xbox One, only to find out it is not compatible with Xbox One, which really sucks. As far as I can deduce, the problem that I'm having is that I cannot get online to download some critical parts of the game that you have to be connected online to get. And I cannot get my Xbox 360 online as of the moment. I've had a lot of issues with that. I've tried a lot of different things, and nothing seems to be doing the trick. You know, this is not due to not knowing how to operate technology. I'm actually pretty good with things like that. It's just, I don't know, either I'm not seeing something, or my Xbox 360 is just being stubborn, or maybe the type of internet that I currently have is not compatible with an Xbox 360. That happens sometimes. Sometimes a console just isn't compatible with certain forms of internet. Like, for example, some newer forms of Wi-Fi, a Nintendo Wii can't pick it up. An original, non-modded Wii cannot pick it up. So that could be what's going on. I don't know. I'm going to play around with it some more and see if I can get anything done. I'm wondering if I could get a copy of Xenoverse on the PC. Does anybody know if you can get Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, not 2, 1 on PC? Is that a downloadable? Can you purchase that game on your PC? If anybody would have an answer to that, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, Dante, if you would do that, please. Yeah, see if Dragon Ball Xenoverse is a game that you can... Stop. See if I can get that on PC, if that's at all possible.
Oh, hey, which one you guys supposed to be processed by Carlos? You? No? What did I do? Some more then?
Alright. Let's do this. Are they going to make me pick a different car just when I start to get used to a particular vehicle? Please don't do that to me. Whew. Thank you, merciful God. I get to actually use a vehicle that I'm getting used to. I don't have to relearn a whole new vehicle on the fly. I hate that. Okay, so it's this Steam. Okay. Dante, thank you so much.
Where are you? Who's the guy? Who's the 9 opponent?
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Alright. So far, so good. This track isn't too hard so far. Or this path, I should say, because it is a cross-country race. It's not... I don't think we're doing laps on this. Whoa, okay, boy, oh boy, I spoke too darn soon. Look at that, that's intense. And I'm almost last. I am last now. Oh, missed a stupid... Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Well, if this holds true to how things have went in the past when I missed the checkpoint, I'm not going to win this race, or I'm not going to get anything out of 12th place. Never been able to recover at all from missing a checkpoint. And that's especially a thing when you're not playing on the easiest difficulty, which I am not. I'm playing on average. So, yeah. Jeez. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. It seems like when I did that big jump, everything just went downhill from there. No pun intended, of course. Seems like when I did that big jump, I never recovered from that. I got last place, and then I missed that stupid checkpoint. I went outside the flags, and boom. Wow. Alright, so let's see what I got. Okay, I mean, hey, for me to have lost and came in dead last in that race, I will definitely take it. That is awesome.
Upstairs now.
See, drivers in that last round were doing a little too much sightseeing and not enough racing. Try not to make the same mistake here, eh? You're through to round 4. Enjoy.
Alright. So... where am I at? Oh, I'm not that far from where I... Okay, well, I'm not that far. I'll tell you what, guys, I'm gonna switch over and play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So I hope you all are okay with that. Okay. I'm gonna pop that in. That's a very fun game, by the way. It's actually the game that I managed to get for free by using coupons at GameStop. So,
2,000 grapes. Two white wines. Oh, yeah.
alright, so.
I think that's all we're Alright, I'm going to be giving you both your little evaluation after our session today. Alright. Let's start with you, Clear. Okay. I'm looking at the report here. It doesn't look good. You're only like the maybe.
Alright, while that's booting up, I'll be right back.
Yeah. We don't talk about that guy anymore. He's in a better place. Oh, yeah. Hell. Did you have fun? I did. I had a great time. I mean, it sounds fucking cool. I didn't even realize it was out here until 1 a.m. Yeah. Well, I mean, no, 2044. 2024. I don't know what that was. 2046. 2025. The same time. I don't have my glasses on. Let's see that long. Alright. Much last. For you, though, Mr. Cadet, how do you feel about this? Okay. I feel like looking at this football.
Alright, guys. I am back. So, FYI, this is one of my favorite Dragon Ball Z songs. Chala, head chala. That's literally the name of it. It's called Chala, head chala. So, for anybody who's new to my stream, some information about me. My name is Mike. I live in Delaware. I study ninjutsu. I've been training in martial arts since I was about 5 years old. I was inspired to start because I watched that movie Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee. And, keep in mind I was a little boy at the time. And I saw that one part where Bruce Lee kicked that guy into that pool of acid. And I thought that looked so cool. So I started training. I'm really into exercising, which complements martial arts training very well, and vice versa. I do a lot of cardio training, weightlifting. I've ran 5Ks. I'm a school teacher. I have 4 college degrees. I have one in elementary education with emphasis on special needs. I have another one in social work. I have another degree in substance abuse counseling and treatment. And then I have another degree, a bachelor's degree, in world history with emphasis on group behaviors. So, my alma maters are Wilmington University, Del Tech, and Del State. So, some other things. I'm single, no kids. I also enjoy watching television. I love to watch TV, television shows, movies. I like to watch other people play video games. I've always liked to watch people play video games. Arguably even more than I liked to play them myself, depending on the game. I'm very much into Japanese culture. It goes along with the, the study of ninjutsu and karate. I like sports very much. My baseball teams are the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies. I actually went to high school with Ian Snell. If anybody is familiar with Ian Snell, he used to play Major League Baseball for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Very good player. Really cool guy, too. So Ian, if you're watching this, hey man, it's been a while. Hope you're doing good. Blessings to you. My football teams are, and everyone's going to think this is very strange, arguably stranger than my choice in baseball teams. East Rutherford, New York Giants, New York Jets, Baltimore Ravens, Miami Dolphins. Yeah. So, those are my football teams. Everyone thinks that is very strange because they are... Yes, Dante, I did, yes. I went to school. Actually, Ian and I had world history class together back in 9th grade. During our freshman year, we had class together. So, yes, arigato, thank you. Yeah, he is one heck of a good player, definitely. Actually, he was a standout in baseball way back when we were kids. So, way back in high school, he was an incredibly good ball player. Anyway, so, where was I at? Oh, my football teams. So yeah, those are my football teams, very strange mix-up there. And even though I'm a very, very hard-edged Ravens fan, I actually like the Steelers. They're not one of my favorite teams, but I like them. Because when they play against the Ravens, they put on some damn good matches. They put on some good, stuff that you would see in a movie, you know. Oh, and I'm also partial to the Eagles. With the Eagles, it's a little bit of a story there. I like the Eagles because I think they have fought through so much adversity. They had really questionable team members at one point. And, you know, with me, I normally don't say anything bad about somebody if I don't like them, because I believe in that old saying, if you don't have something nice to say nothing. They had a certain member of their team at one point that has had multiple brushes with the law. And when I say brushes, I'm being nice with that. I just don't like the guy. And when he was on the Eagles team, they had a lot of problems. Which is messed up because he's actually a good player, but he's just not a good person. And it reflected in the team morale, which means the Eagles were really suffering at that time. And then, you know, the Eagles also had what I call the Super Bowl curse, where they would make it all the way to the Super Bowl, and then they would choke. You know, I'm like, oh man, come on. But then, you know, back in early 2018, when they finally made it to the Super Bowl again, they won. They won convincingly. They put on a good game. They were no longer plagued with bad team members or questionable coaching. They got good trades. They had a good, strong, healthy team. They had a good coach. You know, they had the stars were just lined up perfectly for the Eagles that Super Bowl. And they owned it. And they were pulling off stuff that seemed like it was out of a movie. You know, it's really, really cool to see them finally get their time in the limelight. So, yeah, I'm partial to the Eagles. My friend Kelly actually helped to get me into the Eagles too. Not only because of the Eagles' their triumphs and issues, but yeah, she helped me get into those. She's a Philadelphia native. We were classmates in high school, so Kelly, if you're watching this, hey, thank you so much for getting me, you know, more into the Eagles. Definitely a team to be into. Hockey, I like New York. I like Washington Capitals. I like the Pittsburgh Penguins, and of course the Philadelphia Flyers are my teams there. NBA, I am into the Boston Celtics. I'm half Irish, so I'm a little bit biased. And I love their logo. I think that logo is really cute. I'm a huge Phoenix Suns fan. That's my top team. I also get into Orlando Magic, and I get into Miami Heat. So those are very, very good teams. For NCAA basketball, I don't watch a lot of college football or sports in general, not because I don't like them. I just, for some reason, have never really watched much of them. But I do follow college basketball, particularly March Madness. I'm really into the Arizona Wildcats and UConn. I get into them. They were a dark horse team at one point, but boy, they really came out of the darkness, and you know, they just destroyed everybody. Many years ago, they were that dark horse team. I like that. It's very ninja-like, you know. UConn was just that team that no one really thought much of. Not because they were bad, but they weren't particularly well-known, I guess you could say. And they just came out of the shadows and just tore everybody up ninja style. So, I really get into them. Let's see. Oh, with basketball, I also like Toronto Raptors. I think they're a strong team. I think Canada really produces some really underrated sports teams. You know, Toronto Blue Jays, Raptors, you know. And don't even get me started on their hockey teams. They have some darn good hockey teams. But, you know, hockey is Canada's sport. So I'm not surprised they turn out such great, they turn out such awesome hockey teams. That would be expected. That's to be expected. So. Anyway, so that's my stance on sports teams. That's a little bit of information about me. Alright. Again, if no one's ever played this game, play it. It is really awesome. Okay, so Dante, I did not know that. So, everybody here, Dr. Mink, that's my best friend Dante. He's just brought it to my attention that lacrosse is very, popular in Canada. I did not know that. I always looked at lacrosse as a very popular sport in America. Now granted, my knowledge on this is not as good as yours, obviously. So, as far as to what I knew, lacrosse was a big thing in America, particularly in, high school and also somewhat in college, but more so in high school. I'll tell you what, when I was in high school, that's all you could hear about. As far as spring sports goes, I mean, lacrosse. That's all you could hear about. Even more so than baseball, actually. Alright, so... What's this called?
Give it like a week or something, maybe a week or two. If you hear nothing, contact me, and I'll get you a PDF.
So, Katie, are you into any sports? Do you watch anything? Do you follow anything? Have you ever played anything?
Well, 50-50. Some people like to talk to me, some people like to. Yeah, no, that's Stevie for you. That's Stevie for you. Especially the guy who spent most of his life as a pirate, that's what we call him, but it's a certain type of person who wants to talk to people like that. Yeah, I mean, it's like them folks today. It's true, they look at you and they go, wow, this guy's playing huge. You better watch that. Alright, man, good shit today. Email me if you got any issues or anything, we're on top. Alright,
Alright.
You can say it back, that's fine. Hey, Cooler, I gotta let you out. Let me clear, stay safe. Oh, thanks, I just finished giving an evaluation to my cadet and to my
Actually, Dante, and FYI, I'm sure you know that wrestler Y2J, Chris Jericho. Well, his father, Ted Irvine, is a very well-known professional hockey player from Canada. I'm just curious, A, did you know that? And B, were you familiar with Ted Irvine particularly?
That really sucked with you, huh? That really sucked with you. Why don't you tell me what you mean? Oh, okay. I thought it was something that worked made earlier. No, he ate that joke. I said,
Silk apron, huh? Okay.
It's okay. We're taking one step closer each time.
Actually, Dante, okay, so you haven't heard of Ted Irvine, but I know you know who Rob Ray is. He is, as far as I know, or at least he was at one point, the professional hockey player who had the most penalty goals. Okay, so get this. A long time ago, back before you and I even met, I was on a shopping date with a girl, and we went into a store at the mall. It was Torrid that we went into, and the sales clerk working in there is a lady who is the ex-girlfriend of Rob Ray. So, yeah, that was a little bit of a starstruck moment. Email. Yes way. Yes way, Ted. Tell me if you got that joke. So you got that one, Bill and Ted? So I'm going to...
Tomorrow, big things, guys. Massive blow on tomorrow. We're covering it all live on stream. Huge shout out to everybody today for hanging out and for the follows, everything. If you guys aren't subbed, make sure to sub. If you're not followed, definitely make sure to follow. What the hell are you guys doing if you're not following? I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow might, no, sorry, I'm not back tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm taking the day off. Day off tomorrow, back Monday. Tomorrow Monday. Tomorrow off, Monday out. Go show Walnut Cast and
So, Dante, without giving anything away, because I have not seen it yet, have you seen the new Bill and Ted movie? Okay, so... Alright. Okay, if anybody's wondering why I was having some minor difficulties there, I was playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse most recently, which has a different button scheme than Kakarot, so I kind of had to relearn it as I was playing. I find it's easier for me to relearn a button scheme if I actually play the game. It starts to come back to me pretty swiftly. I actually get the information refreshed in my mind better if I actually play the game rather than look at the button scheme. So if I had pulled up... I'm going to save real quick here while it's on my mind, actually. So... if I had pulled this up and studied it, it would have actually been harder for me to get refreshed on how to play the game properly than just simply playing the game against a weaker opponent and just playing with the buttons. That's the fastest way for me to get refreshed on how to play a game. I'm very heavily a visual learner, but a hands-on visual learner. You know, so I can read this and I can get an idea of what to do pretty quickly, but it's better when I actually do it. Trial and error, that kind of thing. So, just throwing it out there. Another thing about me that I didn't mention and I should have. One moment. Make sure I'm going the right way. Is that me? I really wish you could zoom in more. Jeez. Okay, so you haven't seen the new one. Okay, not to get off topic here, but Dante, I've heard very good things about the new one. Check it out. I have seen pictures of it. I have read reviews of it. I read reviews that were careful not to give anything away. Nudge, nudge. But it looks very good, and it's gotten good reviews, you know, for whatever that's worth. I mean, but yeah, it looks really good. Oh, here we go. Ah, see, I tried to block, but couldn't. Got him. There we go. So anyway, making sure I'm going in the right direction. Don't want to even open up that can of worms, you know. So anyway, another fact about me is that whoa. I know I'm not going the right way. Jeez. Oh, that's where I'm at. That's the reason why my cursor isn't moving at all. Jeez, and I'm literally going right in the opposite direction of where I should be. Okay, that's better. Anyway, like I was trying to say before, I kept getting distracted there. I have Asperger's disorder. If you're not familiar with it, it's a form of high-functioning autism spectrum disorder. It's a pervasive developmental disorder. So what it does to people, and there are varying levels of it, but in general, weakened social skills, inability to pick up on social cues that would be obvious to regular people, to neurotypical people, emotional problems, issues with depression, being overly sensitive to certain physical stimuli, sounds, textures, things like that, tend to get upset out of proportion with certain situations, not necessarily dangerous or violent, but just, you know, seem to become irked with things a little more than regular people would. Things of that sort. In my case in specific, weakened social abilities, very badly weakened at one point. Certain textures I don't like. I don't have any issues with food. Like, some people with my disorder can't eat certain things because of the texture. I don't have that particular problem. With me, it's more so what I touch. Like, there are certain textures I just can't do it. So, I was number illiterate growing up, which means that I could not properly compute numbers due to my problem. I did not get properly diagnosed until age 24, because when I was growing up, it was a very new thing, and a lot of physicians who were not specialists in the field, especially in America, didn't know anything about it. So I actually people just chalked me up as being weird, or unwilling to do certain types of work in school, things like that, that wasn't the case, obviously. So, I got proper diagnosis, and when I did, I got into proper therapy, and mostly therapy to help me improve on my socializing abilities and my ability to pick up on things. I still struggle occasionally. It's been quite a journey. So I'm a very strong advocate for autism and for people to be able to recognize the symptoms of it, so they can get their children proper diagnosis. I am a very strong advocate for not only education about the disorder, but how to, help people deal with it, and the varying levels of it. People think autism, they just automatically sometimes assume that it's a person who can't speak, who makes strange motions and noises and things like that. But not everybody with the disorder reads those symptoms. There are people like myself who can talk like everybody else, and you know what I mean? So I try to make people aware that just because the person may appear quote-unquote normal doesn't mean they don't have an issue that needs to be, looked into. So, that's one other thing about me. Actually, my minor in university, when I was going for my social studies degree, was child advocacy. So, that's how strongly I feel about the topic, is that I actually went and got a degree in child advocacy at Wilmington University. So, that's another thing about me that I certainly do like to share with people. And I encourage anybody, if you're suffering in silence from anything, whether it be not even an autistic disorder, like if you have depression, or if you have, any kind of a psychological or emotional problem going on, or whatever, speak up, get help. Don't be afraid to, don't let stigma about that kind of thing, which still exists, don't let that stop you from doing what you need to do to improve the quality of your life. And possibly the quality of the lives of those around you, Are those Cybermen? They are! Wow! These guys right here, they take me back. I remember watching these guys when I first got into Dragon Ball Z back in 1999, and I remember them being some of the first villains I ever fought in a Dragon Ball game, which is Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 on the PlayStation 2. So seeing these guys pop up really takes me down memory lane. Wow. Alright, so I'm probably way, way, way away from where I need to be at. And wow, lo and behold. But hey, at least I was having fun. Poop. Yeah, where the heck am I, and how do I get out of this area? Actually, another thing about me, too, is that one of the reasons why I studied human behavior so extensively in college, like social work and substance abuse issues and, world history with emphasis on group behaviors, one of the biggest reasons I did that is because, as an Asperger's patient, my ability to understand human nature was greatly impaired, very badly impaired. I'm going to put it to you like this, okay? When I was in high school, I had socializing abilities on par with probably a kindergartner. That's how bad I was at one point. And I couldn't understand human nature at all. I couldn't understand even the simplest things that regular people just know. Well, I didn't. I didn't have that ability. So, I actually wanted to challenge myself when I went to college and study something that I'm not so good at, which was human behavior, both one-on-one and in groups. So that's what inspired me to do those majors. I mean, of course, I love history, so that had a lot to do with it, but the other part, the other component was, I wanted to make myself do a major that, I'm not so good at. I wanted to improve on my weak spot. And my college training did help a lot with that. So I definitely want to thank Deltec and WilMU specifically, because they really helped me a lot with being able to educate me on, that area that had eluded me for so long. I mean, as I said, I still have issues with that kind of thing occasionally, and I always will. That's just built into me. But I'm a lot better. Oh boy. So I need to get out of the city here. The thing that really makes this stupid map so hard for me to read is the fact that it is so small. You can't zoom in properly. Like, if I could get a proper zoom and really get a grip on where I'm going. FYI, when you're flying through the air and you've taken damage in battles and you see smoke, drop down. That is a campfire. Rather than wasting items on gaining your strength back, don't. Just simply come here and hit rest. So come over here, press Y, and watch what happens. Sure enough. Well, I want to stay on the beaten path here. And, one thing I want to bring up, too, is that learning human behavior better was very good for me, because one other thing I struggled with very much growing up was taking everything right to heart. Like, people had a way of being able to really hurt me with words. Not even so much with actions, but just mere words. I was very vulnerable in that sense, which is a common thing that, people on the spectrum deal with. But I was particularly bad. I had a lot of emotional issues due to, people saying ignorant things, etc. Learning human behavior at college level really helped me to be able to deal with that better. So, definitely a huge perk that I got from taking on the major I did in college. It's a principle in ninjutsu as well. Know your enemy. Nexomon? No, Dante, I have never heard of that one. Okay. It's only $10, huh? Did you tell me, and thank you for bringing that to my attention, did you say, Dante, you have or have not played Pokemon Arceus? Okay, give me one moment here before I jump into battle. Yeah, you told me it's really good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you tell me that it's a lot like Breath of the Wild? All right. Uh, come on, man. Yeah, it sounds really good. The only thing I have, the only problem that I truly have with RCS is the price. I'm like, man, really? I try not to buy any game at, $50 or $60, That's the only thing that is really the catch with Switch games in particular, is they're more expensive. Like, you're rarely going to get anything on the Switch that's $10 or under. $20 or under, yes, sometimes, but $10 or under, you gotta really look. And you're definitely not gonna find something like a Pokemon game on the Switch for under $10, regardless of its age. That's the only thing about the Switch I can kind of look at and give a thumbs down to. Alright. So, Kame House. Where is Kame House? Right here. Unless I am really missing something. So I need to go this way. Cool. Nice. So that is cool. They actually have an option on here to simply jump to the place you want to go to. Alright. That is really cool, very handy. Only catch with that is, guys, if you want to get experience points for fighting enemies, you might want to avoid doing that. Actually, may not have been a good idea that I did that right there. Alright. Oh yeah, her. If anybody is not familiar with Launch, who and what she is, okay, so she is a girl who suffers from a form of multiple personality disorder. When she sneezes, she goes from a very nice, easygoing, happy-go-lucky girl to being straight-up evil. And her hair color changes. When she is her nice self, she has blue hair. When she is her evil self, she is a blonde. Now, Dante, I know you like blondes, but here's the thing, man. You definitely want to look past this girl when she's a blonde, because she's straight up dangerous. She is a criminal. She robs banks. She is just mean, nasty, and all you have to do is merely be in the room and she will attack you. So, that is Launch, for those who don't know who I'm talking about. But I will admit, her multiple personality disorder is quite funny in the anime. So, she really gets into some adventures acting like that. Yeah, and she has a thing for Tien Shinhan, by the way. Actually, and an interesting thing about Tien Shinhan, if you're not familiar with him, he's the guy in Dragon Ball Z that has the third eye in the middle of his head. His name is a type of rice. And Launch has a thing for Tien. Also, an interesting thing, too, since Tien's name is named after a type of rice, Gohan's name actually means lunch in Japanese. So, Gohan no nanji desu. That means it's time for lunch. You could also ask it, Gohan no nanji desu ka? Like, is it time for lunch? See what I mean about her? Classic Mutan Roshi. Yeah, why don't you talk about the other side there, buddy? And aren't you going to bring up the other part? You know, when she sneezes? You're going to have Gohan running out there looking for somebody who is definitely and probably not going to fit that description. Wow. So when you're playing this game, you definitely want to be looking around the different places. Good deal. Yeah, Dante, I think what happened with Launch is she took that saying blondes have more fun way too literally. So she just goes and grabs a Tommy gun and starts robbing banks. And says, yep, see, we have more fun. Look at this. Hmm. Dang it. So strangely enough, guys, I'm still learning how to read the map on this game. I know that may sound weird. I mean, I can fight on this game pretty good, and I can play the game otherwise pretty good, but the map... I wish the map on here were a lot like it is on Forza 4, where you can zoom in nice and close, and you know what I mean? Dude, come on, shoot your... Yeah, man, definitely. We can certainly do that. Good deal. That's creative. Oh, hit the wrong button, didn't I? Okay, am I pressing the wrong button? What am I doing wrong? Oh, damn. There it is. I was pressing the wrong button. I'm gonna do that again. Another thing about me, guys, is actually in real life, I'm a very avid fisherman. I do surf, fishing, and freshwater. And when I can, I do boat fishing. Both, again, fresh and saltwater. So, mini games like this are very fun for me. Oh! Okay, so I thought in this game you always pressed A to bring your fish up. Apparently the button changes. I was not aware of that. There it goes. Let's do that one more time. Why not? I promise this will be the final one. Alright. Nice. Okay, good advice. Give me some ideas. Okay. Minecraft Dungeons sounds fun, honestly. And I'll tell you what, I can actually text you a couple of pictures of my entire Switch library, and you can take a look and see if there's something else we might be able to play together. Sound good? Alright. Alright, Dante, if you can hang on for a minute, you can see me find lunch, and you can see what I'm talking about with that girl. There we go. Alright, sounds good. That was a good fight. And there she is, Dante. And poor Gohan thinks that the other girl is Launch. He doesn't know about her dual personality thing. I know Muten Roshi had to have known that, and he didn't tell Gohan. Wow. It must be a training exercise. There we go, that's what it is. She reminds me of that movie Home Alone, with that gangster movie, where Johnny comes up out of his seat, and he goes, I tell you what I'm going to give you, snakes. I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, low-down keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead. That's exactly what that made me think of. There we go. Okay, good counter from him, but that was... Yeah, that attack right there. Alright, Gohan's getting riled up. He's getting ready for battle. There it is. Awesome. Yes! And I got a good ranking, too. Good deal. Wait, so are you telling me you played this before, Dante? You know, Tien's a very serious character, but... Oh, yeah. Yeah. They actually had another scene like that in Home Alone 2. You was here. And you were smooching with my brother. Anyway, no, Tien's a very serious character, but I'm telling you what, man, I think he needs to put the weights down and quit hitting the punching bag, and look at the fact that he's got a very cute girl interested in him. Like, come on, Tien. Yeah, when they're in the hotel. Do you remember the scene, Dante? Do you remember the scene where Tim Curry and the hotel staff try to run Kevin down in his room? So Kevin plays that gangster movie, and he plays it in cue and makes it sound like a person's actually speaking to the hotel staff, and he plays the part where the gangster goes, "Get down on your knees and tell me you love me." So all of the hotel staff stop and get down on their knees and go, "We love you." There's an insane guest. Oh, dang it. Alright, so I just got through finishing the sub-story here with Finding Launch. I'm going to save it here, guys, and I'm very sorry, but I'm going to end the stream here. Reason being is because it's very late. If it were earlier, I would just keep on going, but it is not. So I want to thank everybody who popped on to watch me play games and to hang out with me tonight. I especially thank the people who jumped into the chat room. Okay, again, my apologies for having to split, but I will definitely be on later today, so please be on the lookout. If you download the Twitch app and you hit me with a follow, or if you don't want to do that on your phone and would rather do it via your computer, you can get email alerts and know when I'm broadcasting. So you can hop right on and watch and interact with me and hang with me in the chat and all. So Alright, domo arigato gozaimasu. Oyasu minasai. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Peace out, guys.